We first focused on stabilizing our family, strengthening our base, and now we are looking at being part of the nation building process. So, how of pushing the next generation to take more risk and to be part of the growth journey of India. So that's the larger purpose of setting up KRK. Along the way, I realized that that self-confidence alone is not enough to travel a long way. It is the people around you who needs to believe in your vision, trust in your process, and they need to travel along with you, which will add more to your confidence to build something large. So I would rather say that if you want to build something, build a team first, and they will help you build something large. Let us take a classic example of an employee being in sales. All they are looking at is the numbers, driving the revenue and all that. But for an entrepreneur, they need to look at a lot of other departments as well. The sales will report into them, the finance will report into them. They need to look at HR as well, administration, expansion, strategy, a lot of other things to do. But one thing is for sure, an entrepreneur's journey is 100x more difficult than an employee, but 1000x more rewarding when it is done right. Milestones are, it happens every now and then. It's about what milestones we choose to celebrate. So I choose milestones that will make the entire team happy, and we start celebrating on that. It's always important to work in an MNC and possible in a startup as well before getting into an entrepreneurial journey. These experiences will open up your vision, give you a lot of insights, industry insights, experience, confidence, whatnot. So on top of the educational foundation, you must work for MNC and that of customers, and most importantly, this is the most important part of a startup. You cannot build something massive by just doing it all by yourself. You need a rock solid team who can stand by you at all times. A few shipments, I would tell my sales team, the first 3 shipments for a customer is extremely important. If you can deliver first 3 shipments in the right way, if they are extremely, especially between the age of 20 to 30, this is the time where you can learn a lot from, you will have the time and energy to learn a lot. And I will highly recommend the young professionals to make sure that they have enough certification courses, like they can do. Look at work as a painful thing to do, then you will always think about how do I balance this. The minute you start enjoying your work, then it will get interconnected with your everyday life. Strongly vouch towards recruiting freshers, because at KRK the stability is brought in by the experienced professionals, but the growth is brought in by the young professionals who take risk.
Welcome to today's Spotlight. Yet another day, and yet we have another inspiring guest with us. And today's episode is sponsored by Look for Intern, an exclusive platform for the logistic internship. If you're a student or an organization looking to hire interns, then this is the right platform for you. So today we have Mr. Karthik Ravi, founder and director, KRK Logistics. Hi, sir.
Hi. Thanks for having me here, Fahira. I would like to thank Logistics Spotlight for the contribution they're making to the logistics fraternity by having industry professionals here to share their experiences and knowledge, and that is really useful for the young professionals who are coming into this industry. So let's get started.
Yeah. I want to begin by asking that, what was your goal growing up? What vision did you have? Did you know that you're going to end up in logistics in the later period of your career?
Okay, so my vision was always to become a successful entrepreneur. The logistics company that I'm running now, founded in 2023, although it's only 2 years old, it roots back to early 1950s when my grandfather started working for a freight forwarding company as a finance manager. So he's been as a finance manager in the same company for 40 years and retired in early 90s. That brought in the stability to my family. He laid the foundation for my family, and my father took over the responsibility as the eldest son of my grandfather. He went to Mumbai and started his career as an docks executive in a freight forwarding company in Mumbai. So for the next 20 years, he worked in various roles, various organizations, and laid and strengthened the foundation for me. And as I grew up along with him in this industry, looking at this industry, it gave me the push to do something bigger in life. And when I started my career, I was fortunate enough to land up some jobs in corporates, some startup companies as well that gave me the experience and exposure to widen my network, to get a lot of good people around me that helped me lay the foundation for KRK Logistics, what it is today.
So basically, the question was like, you told me that your grandfather was from freight forwarding. So you must have heard a lot about the industry, while starting your career and all of that. So how did it change your perspective, is what I'm asking.
So the reason why I got the passion towards the shipping industry is because of the practical exposure that I had in the industry. Although my grandfather is from the same industry, my father is from the same industry, I was exposed to the container freight stations, which is basically the warehouse for storing containers and all that. And all those things, I was impressed by the way how the large cargo was moved from one place to another. And that made me interested in the industry, and that got me started in this particular field.
So can you also share about the size of your team, whether your main focus is on specific trade lines or services?
Oh, we started with just 4 people back in 2023, and now we are close to 40 people in just one and a half years. The team size is growing along with the company's growth. So now we are also expanding into other regions. We started in Chennai, we expanded to Tuticorin. We are looking at Mumbai in this coming year, and we are looking at overseas offices in the next coming years as well.
So while founding company, the KRK Logistics, what vision did you have for the company?
Okay, so as we founded KRK Logistics, the one thing that I wanted to do was be part of the nation building process. So from my childhood, especially since I connected my career to close to independence, we first focused on stabilizing our family, strengthening our base, and now we are looking at being part of the nation building process. So how do we do that? We need we are a population of close to 150 crores, and 50% of them are PAN card holders, but only a fraction of that are filing annual returns, and a portion of them are actually paying taxes. So 2 to 3% of the entire population is paying taxes. So how do we pull a large population towards creating a strong wealth for themselves and get them into a tax-paying citizen? So what happens is that the direct taxes paid to the government increases, and the indirect taxes or the burden on the common people will reduce drastically. So when we started KRK Logistics, my own specific purpose was to develop by setting up new startups. The next 20-year larger vision for me is to start and develop multiple companies in parallel with KRK. And KRK is set up like a family office where we want to push more people into entrepreneurship. See, in fact, in the last 75 years after independence, India has been in survival mode. So I'm thinking of pushing the next generation to take more risk and to be part of the growth journey of India. So that's the larger purpose of setting up KRK.
Okay, that is a very big vision that you have. So what lessons have you learned along the way, building your vision and a transforming company? As you told, you started with 4 people and now you're a bigger size and you want to expand to overseas. So what lessons have you learned along the way of failures or mistake, and how has it strengthened your approach?
When we started the organization, it was all about my self-confidence of doing something. But along the way, I realized that that self-confidence alone is not enough to travel a long way. It is the people around you who needs to believe in your vision, trust in your process, and they need to travel along with you, which will add more to your confidence to build something large. So I would rather say that if you want to build something, build a team first, and they will help you build something large.
So that's a very interesting take. Okay. So what qualities must someone possess to become a founder in today's world, just like you?
For any founder, they need to have a collective well-being as a goal. So they should not just think of what can I do for myself or what can I do for the people around me alone. It should be about a larger vision of taking care of the entire society around them. It should be about the collective growth of the society. So that is something a founder should be looking at.
So as you were telling me that you had the goal of becoming an entrepreneur from the initial stages of your life. So can you tell me, how is a mindset of an entrepreneur different from as an employee?
Yeah, so like I told you before, an employee when he starts or when he's throughout his career, he will be focused on what to do next for their own career development. And for an entrepreneur, they need to wear a wider lens. They need to look at a lot of other things as well. And most importantly, let us take a classic example of an employee being in sales. All they are looking at is the numbers, driving the revenue and all that. But for an entrepreneur, they need to look at a lot of other departments as well. The sales will report into them, the finance will report into them. They need to look at HR as well, administration, expansion, strategy, a lot of other things to do. But one thing is for sure, an entrepreneur's journey is 100x more difficult than an employee, but 1000x more rewarding when it is done right. So it takes time for an entrepreneur to settle down, but once things are set, then things go into autopilot mode, and it's really good to become a successful entrepreneur.
Okay. So as you're sharing us, the qualities that an entrepreneur should have and how do they feel about, rewarding and all of that, can you share us some of the milestones that you came across your life and the journey and the more remarkable moments that you remember?
See, for the biggest achievement for me, I would rather say that every time some customer calls me and says, your team has done a brilliant job, that gives me the biggest joy. It's not any personal achievement. It is always the team's success is my success. That's the first thing. And milestones are, it happens every now and then. It's about what milestones we choose to celebrate. So I choose milestones that will make the entire team happy, and we start celebrating on that. Fortunately, we have been growing from day one. There has never been a day where we have wondered what are we going to do next. Our pipeline has always been strong. Our future has always been strong. And the customers who chose KRK has remained with KRK for whatever period of time they have been with us. So that's something promising for us. And one good thing is that we have a strong founding team who is also aligned with the vision of KRK. And we keep getting a lot of insights and ideas to keep pushing towards our vision. So that's something very important. And we keep going on that direction now.
Okay. So what advice would you give to someone who wants to transition from an employee to an entrepreneur? And should they work in an MNC or a startup to get, the exposure that they need in the transformation?
So let me answer your second question first. It is always important to work in an MNC and possible in a startup as well before getting into an entrepreneurial journey. These experiences will open up your vision, give you a lot of insights, industry insights, experience, confidence, whatnot. So on top of the educational foundation, you must work for MNC and a startup, and preferably a successful startup. See, I have a friend who's working in a startup for the last 5 years with no progress or growth at all. That doesn't matter. You need to find a startup or a promoter and a founder who has a clear vision and who can show clear progress or growth. So you need to have the experience and exposure from both these parts, and then you start something of your own. And before starting something of your own, a lot of people think that capital is the most important thing to do a startup, but I would say that is the last missing piece. Before that, you need to acquire a lot of other things. You need to have the industry contacts, you need to have some good set of customers, and most importantly, this is the most important part of a startup, you cannot build something massive by just doing it all by yourself. You need a rock solid team who can stand by you at all times. So before getting into anything, have a solid team who can back you up. And most importantly, when you put a chief of something, they need to be an expert in that. If I put a chief of finance, that chief of finance should have more knowledge than you, even though you're the founder. So you need to find the chief of every department who will back you up, who will help you grow the organization. So for a startup, these are all insurance that you need to keep in place that will ensure that your failure rate is low and you are all marching towards the vision of the organization.
So how do you maintain a competitive edge in the industry? Because logistics is rapidly growing. So what are the steps that you do?
So the first advantage in this evolving logistic industry is that customers now want a one-stop solution from their logistics service provider. They want freight forwarding, custom clearance, warehousing, transportation, like all the other allied services, including license, DGFT licensing work, all put under one roof and one company or an individual who can provide all the service together. So at KRK, what we have done is that we have all these services under one roof, and we have put experts to handle these products. Several severally and jointly together for a customer that needs these solutions. Now, the competitive part is that we really don't compete on numbers. So we don't want to go cheaper than the competition. We really don't get into negotiations. We always provide value. So if a competitor is giving a price of X, we offer the same price, but we also provide some value-added services which the competitors ignore. So we go that extra mile, give them additional services that the competitors would not even think of, and we make sure that we handhold the customers from door to door without any trouble, and that's how we are maintaining a competitive edge in the industry now.
Yeah, that's very well put, that you prioritize a value and go an extra mile for the customer.
Correct.
Yes. So how does a company utilize technology? Because nowadays the world is big on digitalization. So how do you utilize digitalization, transformation?
So a lot of logistics company in the industry have started transforming towards digitalization and technology-driven business. We are well aware of that, and we are using a lot of SaaS products, software as a service products, and we are taking the industry-best softwares, giving it to our team members. For example, for customs-related things, we are giving a industry-leading software for that service, and then we have something separate for finance and something separate for ERP, CRM, and all that. We are also looking at building something in-house, but we are very careful in that journey because we have seen some companies who tried and failed and collapsed the entire system. So we are extremely aware of building something in-house by taking enough time without disturbing our core activity. And we know what AI is doing, so we are also incorporating AI into our daily life. For example, the ChatGPT and Microsoft, there's another AI tool for which we have paid the premium and got the membership for some of our team members to make sure that they are bringing in AI. Now, the only question is that how and when we are going to integrate this. So we are constantly doing that without fear, without the possibility of disturbing our core.
Okay. So can you tell me what makes KRK successful? What is the USP of KRK?
We are a purpose-driven company. So the KRK was not built on one day. We did not decide today, and we did not think of starting it tomorrow. It's been a long journey, and we always prioritize stability over growth. So for every step that we move forward, we are always careful with laying a strong foundation, and then we also have a backup plan that will quickly come in place in case something might go wrong in different directions. So that is very important, and significantly, the contribution from the team members is phenomenal. We never expected this kind of strong hand-holding between the team members, who are always, part of the journeys through ups and downs. So that has contributed to KRK's success today.
So as you were telling me about networking and finding the strong customer base, so how do you do that? How do you prioritize customer satisfaction and as well as building new clients?
The biggest advantage in India is that the majority of the sales happens through reference. So if you're able to convince 3 or 4 customers to give a business to you and give them good service for at least a couple of few shipments, I would tell my sales team the first 3 shipments for a customer is extremely important. If you can deliver first 3 shipments in the right way, if they are extremely delighted, that customer will refer other customers to you. And when we started KRK, we just had 5 customers in hand. In just 1.5 years, that has multiplied to 75 customers, and 90% of this customer base is pure reference. So one customer has referred to the other one, and that customer has referred to 2 more customers, and this keeps growing. And what do we do for customer satisfaction is a good question again. So what we do is that we prioritize on the service. So my entire team is divided into 2. The hunting and farming of customers is done by young professionals. Okay. And once the customers comes into place, the operations or the customer service is entirely taken care by industry experienced people between 15 to 25 years. So this team handles the operations, so nothing goes wrong. Yes. It's watertight process that we have set. and we don't give any space for mistakes to happen. And in case some mistake happens, we own up the mistake and we compensate for the mistake as well. There are cases where insurance claims have failed, and we protected the customer by paying from KRK's pocket, where we felt that it was genuine. The claim was genuine, but the insurance have failed, and KRK has backed up the customer by compensating for that. So we go that extra step to make sure that customer is 100% satisfied and they come back to us. And this kind of safe and secure mindset for the customer helps us to get repeat business and also references in the industry.
That's very nicely put. Most of the companies say that they are taking steps for customer satisfaction, but it's very nice to see that KRK has a solid grounds on that. So I want to know, what are some of the soft skills and hard skills that need to be improved or need to be utilized by the freshers or the people who are coming inside the industry, logistics?
This is a very important thing in this industry. There should be constant learning and unlearning. Both the soft skills and hard skills for any business leader or a professional is extremely vital. And I myself keep enrolling for various certification courses every now and then to make sure that I'm up to date with the industry knowledge. And it is important for the professionals also, especially between the age of 20 to 30. This is the time where you can learn a lot from, you will have the time and energy to learn a lot. And I will highly recommend the young professionals to make sure that they have enough certification courses, like they can do IATA course, basic dangerous cargo, and a lot of other. We got a course for customs broking exam as well. So it's important to identify the division or department that you want to excel in, and preferably do a certification course in that to become a subject matter expert in that. So apart from that, you also need to develop your soft skill that comes through experience and by leading teams and by interacting with a lot of other stakeholders. So this goes without saying. Learning is constant. It needs to be done throughout your career.
So you seem like a person who believes in continuous learning. So how do you maintain a healthy work-life balance?
Okay, so now in the last 5 or 10 years, this work-life balance is being spoken a lot about, and there's a lot of dispute or tug-of-war happening between the professionals and business owners. I've seen a lot of debates in LinkedIn as well. So my take is different. For me, I would say work is an integral part of life, and it's balancing it is not the right term. We should say we should interconnect work in your everyday life, because in 24 hours in a day, 8 hours is spent on work, 8 hours is spent on sleep, and the remaining 8 hours is for taking care of our personal needs like eating, sleeping, going out, taking care of our health by going to gym or doing yoga, whatever it is. Now, how do we interconnect these things will bring the balance eventually. Now, if we look at work as a painful thing to do, then you will always think about how do I balance this. The minute you start enjoying your work, then it will get interconnected with your everyday life, and that it all goes into one wavelength, and it comes into a sync. So for me, there are Sundays that I've worked. When there is a demand for work, when someone calls me and says, Karthik, cargo has arrived at port, can you look at it? I've taken, I did not think that it is a painful job, but I decided to. This was when I was working for a company. So out of pure passion, I apologized to my family and said, today I'm not able to spend time with you guys, but we look at it on another day. And I went all the way to the port, stayed up till 2 o'clock in the night, cleared and delivered the cargo to the customer. This also has happened. And on a Thursday or a Friday when, there is not much of work, I've taken a leave and spent time with my family. So this is how I balance work and life. For me, everything is important. What is important on a particular day decides my action on that particular day.
So that's a very interesting take. So I want to know, what is one of the misconceptions people or students, freshers coming into the industry, they have about entrepreneurship?
So I can share my personal experience. In my early 20s, I went to my dad and asked for money. I said, I want to do my own business. I need some money from you. Since you have some spare money left with you, can I have some money to just get started? And later in my career, I realized that money was the last thing that was required to do business. And Thankfully, my dad denied giving me any money, and he said I need to work for some time. So that's when I decided to work for multiple organizations. Thankfully, I did that. I got a lot of contacts, and I got a lot of knowledge. Most importantly, working for startup really helped me to understand the grind behind it. And then when I started my business, capital was almost nothing, because I have already saved enough money to do everything by myself. And for young professionals getting into this industry, one thing I would tell you is that don't compare yourself with another IT professional or someone who's having a better growth rate in the initial stage. Logistic business is always rewarding in the second half of your career. First half, you need to invest a lot of time, energy, effort in gaining knowledge, gaining the contacts, and you need to prove your potential in the industry. And at one point of time, when you have all the right boxes ticked, you can step out and start something of your own. So this is what I would recommend. At least 5 to 10 years of putting your hard work into an organization's growth, and put your full effort as though it is your own organization. So don't try to take, but try to give something to the industry and the fraternity. And by giving, you will gain a lot.
Okay. So what is your view, or what is your take on recruiting freshers into the industry?
I strongly vouch towards recruiting freshers, because at KRK, the stability is brought in by the experienced professionals, but the growth is brought in by the young professionals who take risk. And I'm there to back them up. So I balance the team. We have two categories of teams. First category, we started the organization with a lot of experienced professionals with a minimum of 10 years of experience, and that brought in the stability initially. But once the stability is there, then we need to grow. Okay, so nobody wants to be stagnant. Yeah. And for the growth to happen, we started hiring young professionals into the organizations, freshers as well as people with a limited experience of 1 or 2 years, and then we gave them the direction to run towards. With their young energy, they started running, and that is helping us to grow exponentially. So I think there needs to be a balance, and we need to encourage a lot of young, talented professionals to come into this industry.
So most people, nowadays are aware of this industry and want to come inside this. So what would your advice or message to them would be?
Like I said before, it is important for them to be a little patient as they grow. And one more thing that I would like to add to young professionals is that they need to work in multiple roles and multiple departments to get a wide exposure of the industry. I see a lot of young professionals being stuck in one role for 10 years or 15 years. Like I know a person who is extremely talented but was stuck in customer service for 12 years. So I had to pull him out of customer service and give him an opportunity in key accounts management, and he's doing a brilliant role in sales now. And this was an untapped potential that he never knew that he had. He was always in the back end trying to manage the documentation process, draft checking, approvals and all that. But the minute I brought him in the forefront and said, see, you are capable of doing this, he's doing extremely well, and he's already been promoted twice. And there are people whom I've moved from one department to other. There are some people who are stuck in custom clearance, not able to find a passion towards a job, have moved them into transportation, give them the division, gave them the ownership, and moved some people to the freight forwarding division. So basically what I'm trying to say is that young professionals should not be stuck in a position for more than 3 or max 5 years, and they should jump from one position to other. So if you have listened carefully, you will know I'm not asking them to jump from one company to another. I'm asking them to jump from one department to another or one division to another. That will help them to gain the exposure. As long as they're working for the right reporting manager who's ready to give them that opportunity to grow, there's nothing wrong in sticking with one company for even decades together.
Thank you so much for laying that out as simple as possible. So as we have come to the end of the interview, I'd like to ask, where can we see KRK in the next 10 years, and what is the vision?
We don't want to go out loud like a lot of other startups trying to, boast our numbers in terms of revenue. And I'm one person who hates the term when someone says we burned X amount of money trying to do this, do that. So I'm a very prudent person when it comes to managing the capital or money that lies with us. So we are taking a conservative, careful approach. We still want to grow in a way where every time I take a decision, I just don't see the team members, I see the families behind them. And so it is important as a founder, promoter for me to take every steps carefully. Now, even if we go in this direction, in 10 years from now, we are looking at an IPO. We would like to go public in the next 10 years, and all our efforts are being put towards that direction. And so on top of this, we would proudly like to shape the career and life of many young professionals who are joining us. Every time someone joins KRK, I give them 3 options. First option is to grow along with KRK. Second option is to do something of their own. If they at one point of time, if they've gained enough experience and exposure, and if they want to do some startup of their own, we will make sure that they have a smooth start, and we are ready to share our resource and experience and everything for them to get started. And third is, if they get an opportunity out of a region where KRK is not present. Let's say somebody is getting an opportunity in Singapore today where we are not present, and if they're keenly looking at that opportunity, we are okay for them to take that opportunity. And so these are the open options that we have as a company. So we are looking at an holistic growth, and I strongly believe that this is the biggest nation building contribution that I can do from my side.
Okay, that's absolutely nice. So thank you so much for being here today with us.
Thank you.
So all your visions and the way you have put and laid out the points are very simple, and it's very easy and motivating for us to follow. Thank you.
Thank you for having me here.
So that's the end of today's Logistics Spotlight. Hope you had a great time, because I did. Meeting people from different backgrounds in the logistic industry with different stories is truly inspiring. Please wait for the next episode. Until next time, thank you. So please subscribe, share, and like our channel.